So we've been spending heaps of time talking about, more advanced tactics, running an SEO agency and like things like that. What are some mistakes that beginners should avoid? What are some actually myths that beginner SEOs commonly run into?
Mistakes, I was thinking about this before, using really expensive tools that you do not know how to use. So I've had people come to me that want to learn SEO and they say, should I buy SEMrush? And I go, probably not, because to fully maximize its use, you're probably not ready for that. Use something as simple as Google Search Console or a great tool like SEO Get. Fantastic tool for just looking through what keywords you're ranking for straight through Google Search Console. So there's no aggregation from a different database, and see what pages are attributed to and just start from there. It's basically free if you're using Google Search Console or SEO Gets. It's a couple $100 probably to just get something going in terms of your SEO toolkit. You work on that for 2 months, you'll build a really good foundation. So SEO being expensive to get into and hard to learn, there's information everywhere. Just by purely from Search Console, it's free. You can do a lot.
Yeah, nice. For me, I would say learn everything yourself is the biggest mistake that beginners make. SEO is so complicated and there's so much mysticism behind it. You would be absolutely gobsmacked the amount of time that you can save if you get someone who knows what they're doing to teach you. Like, you can just cut through so much of the BS and so much of the noise. For example, with link building, if you tried to learn how to build links yourself, my God, you would waste so much money, so much time. But then with the advice that Lawrence and I have given you today, that could have saved you 6 months or to a year, of trying to build links yourself. Because as we know, to rank a website with links takes months as well. So you would be pouring so much money and time into doing a personal test that you could have just literally asked a mentor, what's the answer? And the mentor would have just given you the answer. And then you would have saved yourself 12 months of heartache and probably thousands of dollars of backlink cost. So beginners, please get yourself a mentor or someone that knows what they're doing. And that will truly accelerate your rate of growth.
To add to that, I've given the analogy before to someone said, why should we do links with you? Well, if you went out and tried to get the same level of links, you're a founder, you're a business owner, you could spend 10 hours doing it. We can do it in 2 because we have the network, we have the publishers that we work with constantly, we have the tactics to do it, we know what to do exactly. We're going to save you time on doing that for this rate, where you could go out and do things in your business that are actually going to be meaningful and drive revenue in other sources. Let us handle that as well. It's like, oh yeah, that makes a little bit more sense than me trying to go down the rabbit hole of trying to find out the perfect DR, DA, traffic niche relevance on a backlink. It's not a job for everyone.
Yeah, definitely agree. That's like starting to get more into the realm of like being a business consultant again, because you're like, hey man, you need to be produced. You don't spend your time as a founder on building backlinks. You need to be like figuring out, your customers' biggest pain points. You need to be figuring out what's wrong with your offer. You need to be thinking about how to better maximize your packages in your company to maximize ROI. Like, there's so many better things to do. Yeah. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people get bogged down with, is spending time on things that just don't matter that much. Like with SEO specifically, there's like S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier things that you can do. For example, like in my personal opinion, schema is something you can waste a lot of time on that just, to be frank, it doesn't move the needle that much. Yeah. Like, unless you're in ecom and you're doing like review schema, that's a great one. But for the most part, if you're doing like local business schema, you're worried about your blog article schema, like don't worry about that. Like, spend as little amount of time as possible on that schema and then just focus on, making sure that your keywords in your H1, which is super important, making sure your keyword is in your meta title, super important. And then making sure your article is like SEO optimized, readable, people want to engage in it, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's something I've noticed that a lot of very like technical people get stuck on. The people that like to tick off every single box in the checklist get stuck on the things that just don't matter.
They're gonna miss the big opportunity by being too rigid in their approach. That's thus following the guidelines a little bit too much.
Yep.
In business, in SEO, it's there's a lot of synergy between that. You're gonna miss out on those opportunities. But I'd rather spend 10 hours working on schema or create the best white paper that's gonna get good publications and great coverage that's gonna drive a lot of clicks to my website. If I've got the fundamentals down and they're mostly done right, I can focus on bigger and brighter things in SEO.
Definitely. I think a really good rule to live by is the 80-20 rule, both like professionally and like personally, is 20% of the things that you do produce 80% of the outcome. And this was like, I'm going to butcher this quote, but like I learned this from watching a podcast from Layla Hormozi, where she speaks about how there's like, you know, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier problems essentially. And as founders or business owners or even like SEOs, you're very emotionally tied to your project. You want it to go well. You want to do everything perfectly, including the D tier tasks that just don't matter. She mentions thinking about it like problems in buckets. So she says, for example, is your problem going to catch fire to this entire office? If it's going to burn the whole office down, then that's a problem you need to focus on. Right? Is the problem just going to be a fire that's contained in a dumpster? So it's a problem, but that problem is contained. And if it burns out, nothing happens to the entire like organization or your campaign or whatever it is that you're trying to build, right? So let the fires that can be contained and self-contained, sometimes you just let them burn. Schema, didn't implement it, don't worry about it.
Schema, let it burn.
Let it burn, yeah. Don't implement it for 2 years. Like just let it burn. Like it's fine. Worry about the other stuff that like moves the needle more. Yeah. Like if you're not building backlinks, website's not gonna make any money, you're gonna lose the client, then yeah, the whole office is burnt down because you're gonna be homeless. So
my way of doing it, and this is how I operate life in an SEO as well, is this gonna completely fuck me at some point? And if I go by that methodology, I usually find the things and go, you know what, this isn't gonna completely nuke my life in the next 2 weeks. I could probably let it sit. And I experience this day to day. Everything's a problem, everything's a priority, whether it be SEO in business. And you just have to pick the battles really smartly and have to almost wear the fact that you can't resolve everything. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but over time you build a lot more of a muscle towards it, a lot more of a wall towards, oh, we got this problem. It's like, yeah, we do. But I got this thing to do over here that could be amazing. You got to channel your energy towards those right things. And it's a skill to learn. I can't teach it that easily. You just have to experience it every single day to build that muscle towards it.
Yeah.